In this video, we are going to be talking about the most extensive and diverse phylum in the animal kingdom, the arthropods. Arthropods dominate life on land in terms of their relatively large size, number of individuals, and species diversity. They constitute more than the three-fourths of all known individual of animal species. In other words, they are more than 3 times the number of all other animals type of animal species when they are all put together. This phylum has been adjourned as the most successful group of animals owing to their level of abundance, vast number of species, ecological distribution that does not spare any region of the Earth's surface from the tropics to the north and south polar region, and they occur in all types of environments from the low depth of ocean to high altitude and have various species adapted for life in marine, brackish and freshwater, land and air, including places where other animals could not colonize. They are believed to be the first set of animals to truly colonize the land. Mode of feeding in arthropod is highly varied, and they can feed on organic products as well as inorganic products that are edible to them. They are the most capable of defending themselves against hazard or escaping from enemies. Arthropods share numerous ecological niche, particularly the tropic niche with man, and they happen to be the more efficient at food acquisition and utilization. Hence, they are being eaten by man and they are being referred to as successful rival of man. Now, what are now the characteristics of arthropod, the general characteristic of arthropod? Firstly, you have to understand that arthropods are triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical, metamerically segmented, and they are coelomates, which means they have two coelom. Their entire body surface is covered with cuticle that is made up of stout, non-living, non-cellular multilayered chitinous exoskeleton secreted by the epidermis. All their appendages are jointed, and this explains the name Arthropoda. Arthros meaning jointed, and podos or poda meaning appendages or legs. So we can say they are what? Appendages or legs. Hence, that is where they got their name from, because they have jointed appendages. Their muscle run in discrete bundles and operate on a lever system of movements. They have a central nervous system that consists of a dorsal brain connected to a double ventral solid gangulated nerve cord. They have a complete digestive gut that starts from the mouth and ends in the anus. They have improved respiratory system with structures like gills. They have gills, gill book, trachea system, and this supports the active and energetic arthropod individual whose body surface is no longer available for gaseous exchange. They have improved excretory system, and it is mediated by glands such as the arterinary gland, oxal gland, maxillary gland, that function as the coelomy ducts, and terrestrial form engage a more efficient and water conserving what is known as Malpighian tubule. Malpighian tubules, which is used for excretion as well. Now, their growth is achieved by a process known as molting or estidiasis. In some cases, they call it estidiasis. That is how they grow. And this entails the removal of the cuticle that otherwise limits their growth and replacing it with a larger one. In arthropod, sexes are separate, hence they are not hermaphrodites. Sexes are separate. And development may be direct or indirect. So these are the characteristics of the phylum Arthropoda. Now, let us proceed. What are now the classification of arthropods? Moving on to the classification of arthropods. This classification was adopted by Rupert and Barnes in the year 1994. And in this case, we can classify arthropod into 4 subphylum, which I'll be listing the general characteristics of each of these subphylum as well as the class and the subclass under them. We won't really emphasize on the class and the subclass, but we emphasize more on the characteristic of the subphylum. Now let us go to the class, the subphylums. We have the subphylum Trilobita, the Chelicerata, Crustacean, and Uniramia. These are the four subphylum that we have under the arthropods. Now let us go to the Trilobita. Trilobita were abundant and widely distributed during the Paleozoic era. Hence, since we know that they are distributed during the Paleozoic era, they are believed to have gone extinct. So there is no Trilobita again on Earth. And they reach their height during the Cambrian and Ordovician period and disappear at the end of Paleozoic era. From fossils, from fossil specimen, about 3,900 species have been described. Remember, I told you that the most successful animals, the most successful phylum of animal kingdom is the arthropods. So they have large numbers. Now let us move to the subphylum 2. But before we move to the second subphylum, I will show you an image of a representative trilobita. This is a representative trilobita. Now moving on to the Chelicerata, which is the second subphylum. Cheli meaning talon and Cerata meaning horns. They are bilaterally symmetrical. Body shape varies from elongated to almost spherical. Body is divided into cephalothorax or prosoma, which is wholly or partly covered by dorsal carapace, and posterior abdomen or opistosoma without legs. So we can say that their body is divided into two segments, which is what? Which is prosoma and opistosoma, also known as cephalothorax or the abdomen. Now, the appendages of Uniramus are present in the prosoma, and it consists of a pair known as the chelicerae. The chelicerates are the only arthropods that does not have antenna, so you have to note that they don't have antenna. And mouth is anteroventral. Median ocella is present, and development is generally direct, which means juvenile has a full complement of limbs, and there are about 63,000 described species in three classes of the chelicerates. What are now the classes under the chelicerates? What are the classes we have under chelicerates? We have the merostomata, Arachnida, and Pasigonidia. Now, the most popular one that we all know is the arachnids, which I'll be talking about now, and I'll be showing you some images under this phylum Arachnida. But before then, let us see some example under the other ones, like the Scyphophthora. Now we have Limulus, Tachypleus, and Carcinoscopineus. And arachnids, except few of them that are sexually aquatic, most of them are terrestrial chelicerae. They live on land, and they use a poison gland or a poison or silk to capture their prey, and their respiratory organ is book lung or the tracheal system. Now they have 4 pairs of leg, so you have to know that they have 4 pairs of leg, and their 4 pairs of leg is found in the what? Is found in the prosoma, not the opistosoma. They are all found in the prosoma. They have a pair of chelicerae, which is believed to be the first set of appendages. Are you getting me now? Now let us see a structure of a typical arachnid. These are the order under the arachnids. They have 2 superorder and 10 extant order, which include the Acariforms, Scorpionis, Shishomida, Opleonis, Solifuge, also known as winged spider, Arane, which is spider, Sirioscorpionis, Rhizoclea, which is the rhizinoclates, the parasitimiforms, which is the mites and the tick, the papigradi, uropygi, and amphiplygi. These are the what? These are the 10 extant order of the arachnids. And remember, I told you that we have the merostomata as well, such as Scyphophthora and Pycnogonida, which is Panthopoda. These are sea spiders and horseshoe crabs. They are also arachnids. Now, these are the extant order under the class Arachnida. Let us now proceed to the third subphylum, which is subphylum Crustacean. That is subphylum Crustacean, and that's the third one that we'll be talking about. They are primarily marine, and they are the most arthropod that are found in the marine. Hence, they are called marine insects. So in some cases they call them marine insects. And their head bears 5 pairs of appendages, which consist of 2 pairs of antennae, 1 pair of mandible, and 2 pairs of maxillae. Please, you have to note that. I said 2 pairs of antennae, 1 pair of mandible, and 2 pairs of maxillae. These are the 5 pairs of appendages that are found in their head. They have a cylindrical appendages, and they are typically biramous. Exoskeleton is often calcareous, and respiration is usually through the gills since they are found in the water. Excretory organs are paired and composed of end sac, an excretory canal, short exit ducts, and they are all located in the head. Their head bears a compound eyes and sometimes located on a movable stalk, and a small median or a dorsal nadpole eyes. They are dioecious. Copulation and egg brooding are very common, and development is through different larval stage like Naulipius, Zoa, and so much and so forth. We have 40,000 species of this subphylum, and it is classified under 11 classes. 40,000 species classified under 11 classes. And we have class Rhymipedia, class Cephalocarida, class Brachiopoda, class Calamonostraca, that is subclass, sorry, it's a subclass, class Ostracoda, class Copipoda, class Miracucarida, class Branchiura, class Pentastomida, class Tantulocarida, class Cirripeda, and class Malacostraca. These are the 11 classes that are under the subphylum crustacean. These are the 11 classes. And remember I told you that we have 40,000 species, right? So of all of them, look at this Malacostraca that is here. Has 23,000 species, and they are divided into 3 subclasses, which is Phylocarida, Oplocarida, and Eumalacostraca, which include the Microbranchium, the Omniscus, and Upagurus. Now let us talk about the last subphylum, which is the subphylum Huneramia. Their body is divided into head and trunk, and the trunk either bear pairs of working appendages, or it may be differentiated into thorax and abdomen. So we can say they are divided into head, thorax, and abdomen, right? Appendages are Huneramous, not biramous as in crustacean, and the head comprises of 1 pair of each antennae, mandible, and maxillae. And some group have 2nd pair of maxillae in addition to the upper lip or the labium. So the upper lip is also known as labium. Gut is straight and lacking digestive diverticula. Trachea is used for respiration in Huneramia, and excretory organs are Malpighian tubule. And they have more than 1 million species distributed between 5 classes. Look at other classes of these arthropods. They have 23,000, 11,000, but this one has more than 1 million species. And this species is this diversity, or the number of these species, is attributed because they have one particular subclass, which is particular class, which is the class Insecta. Insecta is the most in terms of number in the phylum Arthropoda. Now let us talk about the first class, which is the class Chilopoda. Those are the centipedes. Members of this class are carnivorous, and they are distributed throughout the world in both temperate and tropical region. Body is elongated. We all know centipede and millipede. We all know centipede that looks like this. then has legs all over the body like this. We all know that, right? So they attain length up to 27 centimeter, and the first pair of legs is called the forciple, and they are largely or commonly have something we know as the poison claw. So they have a poison claw. Sense organ is organ of Tomosvari and is present as a single base of antennae. And the genital segment of both sexes carry small appendages, which is gonopod, which help in reproduction. Now, let us talk about the second class, which is Symphyla. Symphylans are small, mainly herbivorous myriapodan that live in the soil and they live mud in most part of the world. And there is absence of eyes in this group of animal. Sexes are separate. Parthenogenesis is common. Copulatory behavior is unusual, and they have youngs. The young one have 6 or 7 pair of appendages. The body consists of the head and long trunk with 12 bearing leg segments. Mouth part comprises of a pair of mandible, a pair of long first maxillae, second pair of maxillae fused together forming a what? Forming the labrum or the lip. That is the second class. The third class is the diplopods, which is the millipedes, that is the thousand-leggers. They live beneath the stones, leaves, barks, logs, and in soil, and they are distributed throughout the world as well. There is presence of calcified exoskeleton, and the trunk composed of legless 4 segments followed by 3 segments which a single pair, then 5 to more than 85 segments, which is the diplo segment, each which has 2 pairs of leg, ganglia, heart, and ostia. Those are the diplopods. Now, this is a typical structure or a typical this thing of the class, the arthropods. Remember, we have Uniramia, we have Cheliceratta, we have the Trilobita, and we have the last one. Now, under the Uniramia, we have the centipede, we have the beetle. These ones are insects. Class Insecta. Can you see? They have put it there. Class Insecta, class Insecta, class Insecta. This is the only Chilopoda. This is a Chilopods, right? This is a Chilopods. So let us now move to the class Insecta, also known as the Hexapoda, from the word hexa, which means 6, and podos, which means foot. So they have 6 appendages. The trunk in the case of insects is divided into 3 segmented thorax and 11 and an abdomen on 11 segments without working legs. The thoracic region pair 3 pairs of leg and usually 2 pairs of wing. Usually 2 pairs of wing. Right? Now, in addition, the head, in addition, also bears something known as median ocelli, as well as lateral ocelli, or the compound eyes, which are used for what? Which are used for photoreception or for seeing. And foregut is subdivided into anterior pharynx, oesophagus, crop, and a narrow proventriculus. And the proventriculus is variable in structure and function in different insects, depending upon the food which they take in. Most insects possess a pair of salivary or labial gland, gaseous exchange through a tracheal system. The chief excretory organ are malpighian tubule, which remain closely associated with the alimentary canal. They have a gonoduct, which open to the posterior end of the abdomen, and the hexapod have, or the Insecta have, more than 750,000 described species, and it is 3 times larger than all other animal groups combined. It is divided into 2 subclasses and 26 orders. So remember I told you about 1 million about 1 million Funaramia, but insects only takes 750,000 described species. Now we now have 2 subclass and we have 26 orders, and this image that is here is showing some of the orders that we have under the class Insecta. We have the Phasmida, an example is walking stick. We have the Damptera, example is airwing. Hymenoptera, an example is ants. Anoplura, Pleocroptera,
Orthoptera, Tynosura, Odonata, which an example is dragonfly, Dipteran, which example is mosquito, Homoptera, which example is female squid, cat's flea, that is Siphonoptera, Thysanoptera, which is strip, Coloptera, which is crab beetle, Heteroptera, which is stink bug, and Leptoptera, which is cabbage butterfly. So these are examples of the class Insecta. So this is where we are going to stop our class on the phylum Arthropods. And in the next video, we will be taking each of this class, especially the class Insecta, which we'll be talking about the most because it is the most diverse, and we'll see what are the things that they possess that make them to survive in different habitats. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more.